So we've been talking about food stamps quite a lot on the show recently. And as you know, I've been a critic of the food stamp program for a very long time. And over these past few weeks, for the first time, it seems like Americans en masse are ready to have this conversation about these welfare programs. So, I'm taking full advantage. I admit that. Take advantage of the moment. I've been waiting for this moment for like 10 years, and now it's arrived. So on that note, I wanted to play this clip, and we played a lot of clips that kind of prove the point about EBT. I mean, really, you could play any clip, and this is what we've seen. Just play any clip. Play any clip featuring any EBT recipient doing anything or saying anything, and it kind of makes the point about why this program shouldn't exist. But this one is great because it really makes the entire case against EBT in 47 seconds. The whole case is here. Less than a minute, and it exposes the whole thing, unintentionally, of course, as always, but listen to this.
The first thing I did was grab my phone and call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she says she also relies on food banks to get enough food.
I have depended on those benefits since the 1990s, and it's detrimental to my life if I don't get them.
There are more than 460,000 New Mexicans using SNAP benefits. Tonight, some of them telling us they don't have those right now. Friday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $30 million in state funds would be used to supply SNAP users starting November 1st.
We're going to choose feeding families over politics in New Mexico. We're going to do that right now.
So this is a woman with a heavy accent who's been a SNAP recipient for 30 years. 3 decades on the dole as a SNAP recipient. 3 decades eating on our dime. And she also goes to food banks on top of it. So she's been living off of the taxpayers since I was in 4th grade. Okay, I have been paying for this woman's meals since the very first moment that I had a job. My first job was working at a snowball stand when I was like 13 years old. And I was paying for this woman to eat all the way back then. Now I'm almost 40, and I'm still paying. And so are you. You have been paying for her for your entire adult life, depending on how old you are. Chances are you've been paying for her for your entire adult life. And why? What do we get out of it? What's in it for us? Well, nothing, of course, but it's a nice thing to do for her. I mean, that really is the answer. It's a nice thing to do for her. Okay, well, it would be a nice thing if everybody bought me a car. It would be a nice thing for you if we all pitched in and bought you a new wardrobe with, designer clothes. There are a lot of nice things we could do for people. What makes her special? That's seriously, what makes her special? Why should she get to kick back, relax, and eat for free for her entire adult life? I mean, this woman looks to be probably in her 50s, I would guess, so 30 years. That means for her entire adult life, she has been on the dole. She's never had to feed herself. Ever. Not once has she. This woman has not paid for her own meal ever in her life. Think about that. And this is the way these programs are designed. They do not have the effect of giving people a step up, of propelling them on to becoming productive citizens. They aren't designed to do that. They are designed to keep you dependent and make you dependent, to keep you there in a state of dependence until you die. That's what the programs are designed to do, and it's what they, in fact, succeed in. And I saw some of the comments under this video. People say, well, maybe she's disabled, and that's why she's been on the dole for 30 years. Well, the problem is that, first of all, she's standing there, having a conversation, speaking in a relatively coherent way, even if it's a thick accent. So there's nothing obvious in that video that would seem to disqualify her from having any kind of job, especially these days. Using that as an excuse, especially these days, like half of the jobs are work from home anyway. Pretty soon, there's going to be almost every job. So the idea that she can't work at all for her entire life is hard to swallow. But the other problem is that disabled doesn't mean anything anymore. It's one of the many words in our society that's been so broadly used and misused that it just doesn't mean anything anymore. It used to be that if somebody was disabled, then you knew that they suffered from some very obvious physical impairment that made it impossible for them to live a normal, functional life. Like you can't walk or you can't see. You could still be a functional person if you can't walk, you can't see, but But it's like, okay, there's a physical impairment, a physical disability. It's like an ability that you don't have, that you're missing because of this problem that you have physically. But now, of course, anything qualifies as a disability. Depression is a disability, legally, under the law, under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Depression can be considered a disability. How does that work? I mean, you can't see depression. You can't diagnose it with a body scan or a brain scan. Anyone can claim to be depressed. And what's more, not working, not being productive, living on food stamps will make you depressed. So someone's disabled, they're depressed, they're on some kind of welfare program. That just makes them more depressed. And so now it's a self-perpetuating thing by design. Again, this is all by design. So I don't know, does this woman have a disability? And if it is a disability, is it a real one or a fake one? Well, we have no idea. It doesn't matter. That's the point. The point is that the system is designed to breed dependency, and a system is what it does, and that's what this system does. That's why I say tear the whole thing down. I mean, we got to tear the whole welfare state down. Get rid of all of it. Get rid of the whole thing and start over. Now, I'm not saying there should be no safety. I mean, this is why so much of the language that we use to discuss these things, the language is totally out of step with reality. Because you hear people talk about this like welfare programs as a social safety net. It's a safety net. Well, what's a safety net? A safety net is, you're walking across a tightrope and there's a safety net, and then if you fall into the safety net. If you're in the circus, an acrobat, you have a safety net. If you fall into the safety net so that you don't crash onto the ground and become a pancake on the ground. Okay, that makes sense. But you don't live in the safety net. The whole point of the safety net is that you fall into it and you go, wow, I'm glad this thing is here. That was a close one. But then you get out of the safety net. You don't set up camp there. You don't live there. If you just live, if you decide, okay, well, I'm going to hang out here in the safety net and go to sleep. Well, it's not a safety net anymore. It's a hammock, right? That's what it becomes. And so these safety nets are now hammocks where people say, oh, this is kind of comfortable. I'll just stay here. I'll take a nap and I'll lounge here, drink some lemonade, watch some TV, and I'm not ever getting out of this safety net. Okay, well, it's not a safety net anymore. Safety net is you fall into it. Okay, good. Glad you were safe. Get out. Social safety net. Okay, you fall in hard times. You lose your job. Something happens to you, some kind of unforeseen catastrophe, and you're falling. You're in free fall. Everything's falling apart in your life. Safety net is there to catch you so that you're not completely destroyed by it. That's good. Okay, it caught you. Collect yourself. Now get out of the net. Okay, get out. And that's the part that we've lost. So we should just cut the whole thing down. I mean, really just cut the safety net down, and we need to go back to the drawing board on this thing. And then when you put the safety net back up, it's got to be a real safety net. And what that means is, like, for something like food stamps, it shouldn't even be food. Like, forget about food stamps, forget about EBT cards. It should be, if you're on this program, we will send you, we'll send you military rations. We'll send you MREs, enough that you're not going to starve, enough to fill your nutritional needs for a certain amount of time. And then after that time is up, we're going to take it away. And if you still need it because you haven't gotten back on your feet, you can reapply. But the point is, it's like, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be the kind of thing where you want to hang out there, because that's